Welcome to Geeks of the Round. I am your host, Matt Moore. Today we are discussing The Flash, which is The Flash versus the Arrow episode. We've got a pretty full panel today. Let's start from the left and work our way over. So that would be you, Charles. How are you doing today, Charles?
I am doing fine. However, this episode was complete and utter bullshit city.
Okay, Isaiah. Wait, no, we haven't gotten to Isaiah yet.
Well, he's White Isaiah.
Exactly.
White Isaiah? That is his new nickname. That is totally his new nickname.
Yeah, that's how we're going to designate the two from now on, White Isaiah and Black Isaiah.
There you go.
How about Vanilla Isaiah and Chocolate Isaiah?
Yeah, we have a winner. Vanilla Isaiah.
Who's more chocolate? It could be different because Charlie is more chocolate than me. Ain't that right, Charlie?
Hey Matt,
I wasn't listening.
Yes.
Isaiah is Lando Calrissian, calling his instead of Cloud City, Sky City, and Matt is his trusted Sky, and Whedon is his trusted sidekick, pressing buttons on his wrist.
Right next to Vanilla Isaiah, we have Deano Jackson. How you doing, Deano?
It's a beautiful thing, man. It's like I had to be here for this episode since I host the Arrow discussions. This is the first half of crossover, and I loved it. There are a couple of things I'm going to nitpick about, but they're relatively minor. This is a great episode.
Wow.
And I'm not used to having the executive producer and the community manager. I should have introduced you guys first, and I'm sorry about that. I'm not used to having you guys on. Normally, I just have the crazy kids. So this is no, the crazy kids starring Isaiah.
Exactly. See, the whole movie. There you go.
So because of that, let's actually skip Isaiah. We're going to come right back to you and go with Knuckles. How you doing today, Knuckles?
Doing good. I disagree with Charles. Well, speaking of shit, we'll get more on that later. And yeah.
What did you think of the episode, though?
I liked it, despite it was a little small belly red kryptonite scenario.
Okay, that works. And of course, we have the star of the show, the man I want to slap, the man I am going to send a box of live poisonous snakes to, Isaiah Mullins. How are you doing, Isaiah?
Oh, I'm doing great. No, in fact, I am the star and everything. You know, thank you, Matt. I know I'm just too great. Anyways, folks, I have to agree with Charles. I had to stop this. I had to stop watching this episode. It was just so god-awfully bad. It's like, oh my god, really?
So you didn't watch the whole episode?
Hey, it was either kill myself or watch the episode.
You should have went with
it wasn't. It wasn't kill yourself. It was either watch the full episode or play Dragon Age. It's pretty clear which choice you picked.
Right, it's like Dragon Age or Flash. Oh wait, there's crack over here. It's Dragon Age. Okay, give me some more crack.
Oh wow. Okay.
You know, there's enough of us. We could actually do a hangout on Dragon Age.
See, there you go.
We'll talk about that later.
Yes.
All right, and last but certainly not least, we have Lou Rod. How you doing, Lou?
I'm good. This episode, for being a crossover, was okay. I expected a little bit more.
From what I understand, you liked it so much, or I should say you hated it so much you pulled all your hair out.
Yes.
Exactly.
I went bald just
Like
because
you
of
could
this
have seen
episode.
him, like just yesterday, he had a full head of hair, and then he watched the episode, and it just.
Yeah. One final thing I want to add is that there was probably only one thing in the episode that I thought was awesome, and it happened right at the end of the episode with like less than 5 minutes left to spare. That scene under the bridge, that's the only part in the entire episode that I liked. Only thing.
All right, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Of course, we start the episode with Barry talking again and saying stuff that no one really pays attention to about him being fast and shit like that.
Yeah.
Then he ends up meeting with a new bad guy who apparently makes people mad.
Woo.
Well, they called him Prism in the episode, but in the comic books he's known as Rainbow Raider, and in the New 52 he is known as Chroma.
That's so terrible.
Yeah.
Rainbow Raider.
Well, to be fair, they did do a nod to that original name when
Yes, they did.
Caitlin brought it up later on.
Mhm.
But
It is a particularly
These are
craptastic
all
name.
terrible names.
they're all terrible. They're weak ass villains too. Like, can we just have Captain Colby the main villain? Can we please have that, please?
Yeah, I want Captain Cold back because I don't care about some guy who makes his eyes glow red.
Oh my god, he can do that! Oh my god, that's so scary! Oh wait, it's not?
Well,
Oh.
I mean,
Actually, it's an interesting ability. It's just a dumb name.
Yeah,
Well, it's
yeah.
like-
so is
my
Captain
thing is this is
Cold.
like
Captain Cold is a terrible name, but yet look what happened with him.
That's
Captain
true. But it's
Cold
like,
is a great name.
Yeah.
I think what you have to understand about this episode in particular is that the main villain of this episode was not Prism or Rainbow Raider or whatever the hell it was. He was just kind of there. This was Arrow and Flash's stories. Like, I mean, he was pretty much just a tool to get the story where it needed to go. That's it.
Yes,
So
absolutely,
it's like,
and
I mean,
that has been the curse of Flash. That has been exactly what, with very few exceptions, what villains are made for in the Flash TV show.
Yeah,
Is they're
but-
not made to be a direct problem for Barry. They are meant to get Barry where he needs to go storyline-wise.
Okay, so let me actually add something more to this whole scenario. Remember when the Hulk and Thor came together in that crossover? Yes, that TV show. Remember that?
Oh,
What in the fuck are you talking about?
is it that movie
I
from
don't
like
know.
the 70s?
Yes. Remember that?
Oh, damn it! Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I know what
I
you're
know
talking
what
about. They
you're
posted a picture, but where are you getting at?
There you go. Now that was a cool crossover. No, in fact, it was
You're
completely.
not actually making a point.
Yes, I am. Be quiet. I'm almost at a point
He's
here.
getting to it in a year now.
Thank you. So, anyways,
You're on a
Years
timer. You have
later-
15 seconds.
knowing the fact we know the Hulk was being a bad guy, we still liked him. Now we got Oliver. He's still being a dick, and Barry, he's being a bitch. So we got a dick and a bitch. It doesn't work like that.
The thing is, I kind of liked Oliver in this episode. However, Barry, I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. Barry was a whiny little bitch in this entire episode, and he needed to shut the hell up.
He wasn't a whiny little bitch until he was
no,
affected by,
he was.
whatever Prism did to him.
No, he was the whiny bitch. He said, "Oh, Iris is not."
I don't know, it was just irritating as hell, and I kind of wanted to punch him in the face.
I know, right? You have that feeling like, dude, can you just? Man, I want to punch
Charles,
you.
I need you to meet someone, and so you can listen to them, because I'm pretty sure you'll listen to them, bitch, and you want to punch them in the face. Is it okay if I send you recordings of your own voice?
It was like, I mean, I seriously don't get your complaint about this one, Charles.
Yeah.
I don't understand it at all.
I mean, all right.
It's like, I mean, what Prison's power was, it brought up the worst in his entire personality, and that's what was happening here.
The show
That
started.
was like directly what was going on.
The show started out okay. However, the confrontations that was going on between Barry and Arrow and everything, like the whole fight scene, I did not like the fight scene at all. I didn't.
Seriously?
I thought
I think that was one of the high points of the episode.
I did not like the choreography. I didn't. I thought it just wasn't. I was expecting it to be faster. I just didn't. I just did not care for it. I didn't.
Well, thanks
If
to
it was faster, you wouldn't have been able to see it. It would have been like a blur. That
Well,
would have been
here's
it.
the thing why I didn't like. Here's the thing I didn't like this fight. It was all thanks to Lou Rob because he made perfect sense. Like,
Let's actually get there. That is much later in the episode. Let us slow roll to that and not jump in quite yet. We end up starting out in a bank. Basically, he robs the bank by getting everyone to be pissed off at him, and then he just walks into the vault. Or not pissed off at him, but each other. And then he just walks into the vault. If any of you are watching Once Upon a Time, basically he did to those people what they're doing in Once Upon a Time.
The spell of
And that's
shattered
getting
sight.
everyone to be
Yes,
pissed off at each other.
Yeah, I know what that is.
What?
Yeah. The spell of shattered sight.
Yes, exactly. Basically, so it's kind of funny that we're seeing that a second time
I
in
got
two
one
different
question.
TV shows.
Didn't we
But,
have this particular storyline happen in like a Smallville episode?
Yes.
Yeah,
Quite
yes,
possibly.
we did.
That was like red. It was one of the colors of kryptonite that did that.
Yeah, red
red
kryptonite
kryptonite.
turned
Red, blue, green, yellow,
turned Clark
orange,
into a
please
purple.
don't that shit. No, please don't. Please don't.
It's like
Well,
anytime
that's
that,
just-
anytime that show needed a new plot point, they just made up a new color of kryptonite. It's like, yeah, sure, that's what this one does. Fuck it, why not? Okay, cool.
I thought it was I don't know if you guys have ever seen the anime, but it's called Code Geass or Geass. But basically, he make eye contact with the guy, and he pretty much controls you.
Cool.
Okay.
Familiar.
Just
Of
fucking
course,
little
now
recycled.
we also have Eddie. Eddie is trying to basically start a task force to go after the Flash, but
Yeah,
the
good
captain
luck with
really isn't
that.
hearing it.
Yeah.
What's that?
I said good luck with that.
It's just like Arrow.
Yeah.
This is
It
the
is, like, I mean, At that point, it was a ridiculous argument. I don't even understand exactly. Was that just out of jealousy or something?
Yeah.
Because at that point where he was doing that, that made no sense. I mean, it's like there was the whole train incident. I guess you could try to argue that, but Flash has been saving people and helping ever, pretty much from day one. So it's like having a task force just. Unless it was just pure jealousy. That's the only way that I could see that.
Well, he's player hating. That's why. He's player hating.
I think it is pure jealousy because, well, Iris has been she's been following the Flash this whole time. She's actually been more interested in him than she's been interested in Eddie. And I can definitely see Eddie getting jealous of the Flash because it's been done before in other shows. I mean, it's been done.
But she was waking up in his bed, so why does he need to be jealous? At the end of the day, he's coming home. She's coming home to him.
Right. He's getting the from him, not from the Flash.
He will never openly admit that he was jealous. He's always going to use the excuse saying, "Oh, he's dangerous. Oh, he's going to get people hurt or killed."
Remember, the Flash comes too quick.
Also, but didn't
you're not going to you're not going to be able to capture a man that can basically freeze time. I mean, he's not obviously in actuality freezing time, but from his perspective, he is.
Might as well be.
So you could shoot at him, and in the time that it takes for the bullet to get from you to him, he could have froze and then started, and then frozen, then started, and then frozen, then started as many times as he freaking wants. And that bullet still would not have reached him.
Also,
exactly. It's like, I mean, literally, like in the time it takes for, I mean, the bullet wouldn't even be out of the barrel yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, he wouldn't even have a chance to pull the trigger. He'd be like, "Oh, he's trying to pull the trigger? Okay, let me just take this gun. Thank you." And then he can't pull the gun no more. It'd still be in a holster. Anyway,
the only way I can see how they'd be able to get this task force to catch Barry is to use a weapon that's similar to what Captain Cold is using, or to hire Captain Cold to capture him.
Can we just get Captain Cold?
Or they'd have to trick him like Oliver did.
Oliver,
if they were smart enough to trick him like Oliver did, then I could see it. But
come on.
I think Oliver's already rang that bell.
Yeah.
Sorry, what?
I think Oliver's already rang that bell. It's like because that was kind of the point of this episode, and the point to the crossover was building Barry into more of a hero. It's like, I mean, that's what every episode of Flash so far has pretty much been about, building Flash into a better hero. And this crossover with Arrow is like, I really liked it because it was, someone that's been doing this for a while, kind of playing mentor to someone, just starting out in the game.
He's an awful mentor, by the way. He's not a good mentor.
Kidding, he's a great mentor.
Really? Not one to the
I think the dynamic between the two of them is actually pretty similar to like the dynamic between Superman and Batman.
No.
Think about it.
What happened to the Huntress?
I'm going to agree with Deanna.
He went crazy. He went crazy and tried to kill a lot of people. Thanks, Oliver. Thank you very much. Yeah, he's not a good mentor. And so he got Roy. Wow, he got
Actually,
Roy.
I thought, despite all the problems I had with the episode, I would say that Oliver is a bit of a good trainer because, hey, I mean, he shot him twice in the back with 2 arrows. Yeah, that is a little aggressive, but then again, Barry can heal real fast. I mean, probably after pulling the arrows out of the back, those wounds will be healed in less than 30 minutes.
Yes.
It wasn't about getting shot in the back. It was about making him open his eyes and watching his surroundings.
Exactly, yeah.
That's what Barry's problem is.
Not to quote
they reinforced that by doing the double twist as well, is by shooting at his back, and Barry had noticed, oh shit, I'm being shot in the back, and didn't realize that the real threat was from the front.
And I think when he got shot in the back is when he actually pooped himself.
Exactly. Knuckles was right.
I don't know. I don't
Knuckles,
believe that he
I blame you for that.
Hey, Knuckles was right, though. He was right. The Flash does poop.
God damn it.
All right. So basically, Iris ends up calling up,
Iris
ends
again.
up. She ends up telling the Flash that Eddie is like going after him.
Whoa.
Somewhere in there, Caitlin ends up like talking like much more than she really has in general in this episode. And one of her first interactions with them is basically about Eddie and Iris's relationship is don't get involved, not as yourself or as the Flash, because you don't want to be responsible for the breakup.
Oh
And
my goodness.
Makes perfect sense.
so, I mean, do we think that that's where this is going between Iris and Eddie, or do you think by the end of the episode, Iris is very much in Eddie's corner?
I don't know. She might jump off from one D to the next D. I'm just saying the truth.
No.
Yeah.
If you would have watched the actual episode, you would have noticed what she
She's
told
not
the Flash
loyal,
at the
man.
end.
She's not loyal.
Okay, Chris Brown.
Hey, now I can't be Chris.
For real.
I don't get you like.
It's like, what is up with this warped perception that Isaiah has about women? I don't get it.
Hey, I got that from Deanna.
It's
Okay.
like, have you been hurt in like your previous? It's like,
Hey, now.
do you want a hug, motherfucker?
A hug.
Was your heart broken recently? Did that dragon break your heart in that video game?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah.
So yes. Now something that I was thinking is right at the beginning of this episode, she said it in such a way that that I could potentially see her going after Barry, like getting over her fiance and actually like falling for Barry, but that ends up becoming less and less a possibility throughout the episode. But that's what I was paying attention to, was how she's talking to Barry. And in that conversation, she seemed like, you know what, like, don't do this. Like, yeah, I don't know. She seemed somewhat adoring.
Mm.
But maybe that was my personal take on it.
I didn't see that, but it could be just I wasn't looking for it. I didn't get that vibe though.
I honestly don't really care.
Thank you. I don't care.
care less.
I got the
care less about
vibe.
the romance aspect of the show.
I think.
Well, it
the
is
vibe
a
seems given
CW
off
show,
as more
so
of a-
it has to have romance.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
So
should
the,
throw in a
cops
vampire
end up-
or something also.
The cops end up chasing down Prism. And of course, that's when the Flash jumps in and saves Joe from being shot by basically a shotgun. And that's where the Arrow comes in. Dun dun dun. Saves the day. Ends up
That was my holy
basically.
shit moment.
Yeah. I immediately started geeking out right then and there.
I thought I was like,
Sitting there
oh
bouncing
shit,
on my
that
chair.
was
She was
cool.
like, yes, yes.
Wow, you guys had a geek out. I'm surprised.
I was geeking out for the majority of this episode.
Wow.
If you would have actually watched it all the way through, you might have had the same reaction.
Nah, man.
I did watch it all the way through.
But you were just upset because Barry was being a bitch.
Yeah.
All right, I'll give you that.
Which was the entire point of the thing.
No, I
actually,
want to see.
but-
I want to see a hero bitching about something that's like, oh my god, I can't.
I understand. On the note of me having a problem about Barry being a bitch, I will admit that yes, Barry, that was the whole point of the episode. Barry being a bitch because of Chroma, which is what I'm calling him.
Let's call him Rainbow. Let's
Call
call
him
him
whatever the fuck you want.
I don't know.
Rainbow.
I'm actually kind of
Okay.
pissed off that they didn't call him Chroma in the episode because that's
Well,
what he's
that's
Red
called.
eyes.
That's what he's called. Anywho, that's besides the point. Anyway, it's just what I was saying is that I mean, I mean I understand that's the whole point. It's just in shows that have done this type of arc before where they're being affected, it has always been awkward and uncomfortable for me, and I don't want to feel that. And so when I feel that, it makes me uncomfortable and it pisses me off. And it just kills the entire episode for me. I understand that it's the point. I felt the same way during that episode in Smallville where Clark put that red kryptonite ring on. During that entire episode, I was just sitting there like, why the fuck am I watching this? Because
I don't know. I just
Okay,
have
so it's just a personal thing then.
Red Ring. I have to defend the Red Ring, and that is, I believe it was the first episode of the 5th season, was probably the best episode of Smallville. And he has the Red Ring on for almost the entirety of it.
Okay.
That's the one where he's in Metropolis and he's a badass.
No,
And
I'm
he,
talking. No, that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the episode where he actually gets the ring, the class ring, from his school. He disobeys his dad by getting the ring, and he wears it, and then it goes all through craziness. And then at the end of the episode, Pete holds Clark down with kryptonite, and his dad takes the axe and destroys the ring with the axe in the cornfield. That's the episode I'm talking about.
Wow.
Yes, I understand. I'm just saying that
That's completely
there
other
ended up
bullshit
being
right
a
there.
much
Like,
better episode with the red ring,
Well,
and it was probably the best episode of Smallville.
Anyway,
moving away from Smallville back to Flash.
Yeah.
Well, what about that in season 7 of Smallville?
Oh, fuck off, Knuckles.
No. Let's talk about the tires now. The tires, we missed the tires. Let's talk about the tires, damn it. What happened to the tires?
Before I forget, I actually want to talk about something that the only thing that I really didn't like about the episode, where Harrison Wells is trying to get Felicity to tell him who Arrow is.
I think he already knew.
Hey, here's Oliver Queen's former secretary, and hey, here's Oliver Queen's former bodyguard, and they're together. Oh, hey, and Oliver Queen was with them earlier in a cafe. Huh. I wonder who Arrow is.
No, I think it's Tommy. I think Tommy is Arrow.
I know, right? I wish Tommy was Arrow. It'd be so cool. I miss Tommy.
Or maybe it's that homeless guy that was sitting on the side of the street during the reckoning.
Hey, there you
Yeah.
go.
I don't know if
That's
maybe
true.
it's like the implication they were trying to go with here is that he used his knowledge of the future to figure this out.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, I mean, this wasn't exactly rocket science. It's like, oh, look, Oliver Queen's in town. And, oh, look, we have Arrow sightings all over the place. I'm sure these two things are unrelated.
Right.
Yeah, I know. I kind of noticed that. Going like, why haven't people figured it out? I mean,
People are stupid.
Yeah.
I'm like, how stupid can you be? I mean, are you that unintelligent to be able to put 2 and 2 together?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yes.
The other part I liked was
Yeah.
Diggle's reaction to first seeing the Flash.
Yes.
And his food flying away.
No, not just his first reaction, but also his second reaction and
But
his
he took
third
off.
reaction.
Right. It's like, no one told him yet about Flash or anything else like that? Wow. You guys.
I liked it when he showed up and he spilled his fries all over the place and goes like, "You're really fast."
Wow. I like that.
And the only
that was all my man
while
could
that
say.
while those were probably the funniest moments, the most awesome moment, which we glossed over a little bit, was when Arrow first showed up in the episode, when he said the basically the words that introduced him, which was "nice mask," and I thought that was an awesome moment.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I wasn't
Because
really
it's-
affected by
moment.
that moment.
Well, it's like I thought it was a great moment and a very obvious nod to the fact that that Barry is the one that made Arrow's mask.
Wow.
Well, that's just it. Is in every interaction that they've had, ever since even, they've always talked about masks. Like in the very first episode of The Flash, when he goes and sees Oliver, first thing Oliver tells him is, if you're gonna do this, make sure you wear a mask. Like it is a reoccurring theme in their relationship. I would not be surprised if they didn't mention it again in Arrow tonight.
So here's a question I have to ask. So has Oliver and Barry been watching the show Masked?
All right, so
No,
in any
they
case-
were
Moving on.
watching.
I'm
No,
saying
they were
watching.
watching.
No, they've been
Moving
watching
on.
the show Masked.
They were watching the
Talking about it,
Cape.
I probably don't care.
Obviously.
The Cape.
only issue.
Yeah, they watched the Cape and then took action.
Okay.
Does anybody else here feel that Cisco's a pervert?
Yes, he is.
Why do you think Cisco's a pervert?
Yeah.
Because when the Flash runs into the lair with Felicity and her shirt's on fire, I will never forget this moment.
I wouldn't forget that either. It's called being a guy.
But
It's
that's
called
creepy
keeping
as
that
hell.
to yourself.
He's
not throwing that
not
around
as
other
much.
women.
He's not any more a pervert than any other red-blooded male American.
Pretty much.
Even I wouldn't say that.
Much.
Even I wouldn't say that crap. Like, no.
Hell, even if I was there, even I would go as far as to do this.
Well, that's you, Charles.
That would probably be going too far, but
Yeah, that's you, Charles.
Yeah.
Only you.
I don't know.
I
I
mean,
just
he's
get this
not-
vibe that
he's
he
not Bill
has
Cosby.
issues.
Oh.
Wow.
All right, so we now have, of course, Joe and Harrison Wells. Joe and Harrison Wells are like the Arrow's here. You know who the Arrow is. The Arrow is a bad influence. The Arrow is a criminal. He is responsible for like a dozen homicides just 3 years ago. Blah blah
Nah,
blah.
man.
oh yeah,
He's-
Arrow's
No.
breaking
And
all of
2
these
terrorist
laws.
attacks.
He's a bad person. And
Right.
he would never break any laws, like, say, for instance, keeping a bunch of people prisoner underneath this prison
Right.
on our own recognizances without any checks and balances.
And no
We're not
report
doing
was-
anything like that, but yeah, he's bad.
I told
fuck
you.
off,
Big
Moses.
cripples.
Killed
He's
people.
keeping
They were
keeping
holding
Slade
people
on
against
an
their will.
island.
Right. There you go. Keep that pussy Slade on the
No,
island.
you're missing my point. My point is this is a matter of kind of pot calling kettle black.
Yeah.
They had a
and I
problem
agree.
with Arrow's methods, but even their methods are also questionable. That was my point.
Yes.
I know.
I mean, at the
Well,
very
it's
least,
his method.
they're helping a vigilante, which in itself is a crime.
Oh,
So it's not like they are completely innocent of all wrongdoing. Even the cop is breaking the law.
right.
You know what? Yeah, you're right.
But you can't trust
No,
someone who's a fake cripple. You can't trust fake cripples.
To be fair, Harrison Wells did kill most of them like 2 episodes ago. So
Yes, he kind of did.
Yeah, yes, he did. I didn't think of that, but you're right. It's like, yeah, it's like he's complaining about Arrow killing people 3 years ago. This motherfucker killed somebody last week.
Yeah, that's all about you. Though. You didn't kill a lot of people for no reason. Like, damn, he's a killer. He's a great cripple who kills people.
He's a cripple.
I know he's a fake cripple who kills people.
Oh.
Sorry, I was going gangland reference there, like
Oh.
a cripple.
Uh-oh. Gang signs now.
Is
All right. In any case, let's see. Of course, they say that Arrow has to leave the city tonight, which that doesn't happen. Like
Right.
we literally 5 seconds later, it's the next day in the episode. So we know that didn't happen.
Right.
he went to have some
Oliver,
coffee.
of course. What's that?
He went to have some coffee with Felicity, and
Exactly.
Yeah,
then Barry
some
comes to the shop, and Iris West is going goo goo gaga for Oliver.
Yeah, that
Right.
was
Can't catch a
that was
break.
also another really funny scene to me. It's like it's like Oliver's not an idiot. It's like I'm sure he was very well aware that she was going to Uncle for, but he's just kind of sitting there.
Hey, I told you.
Okay.
I told you, folks. I told you. She's not loyal, homie. She's not loyal.
What?
He's not loyal to
Of
Eddie.
course, Oliver ends up getting the name of Prism / Rainbow Bright / Chroma / Piccolo
That's a good name.
/
Bright,
whatever the
awesome.
fuck you want to call him.
Rainbow Bright. That's what we'll call him from now on. Perfect. Done deal. Rainbow Bright it is.
Yes, I watched.
Ain't that right, Chocolate Isaiah?
Yes, that's an awesome show, people. Watch out, Rainbow Bright. That's an awesome show. Check it out now.
Cool beans.
I mean, he's not as awesome as My Little Pony.
No,
We know
Charles,
Vanilla.
you wanted to be
Vanilla Isaiah
Rainbow
loves
Dash. We know what you like.
Yeah, you like Rainbow Dash.
Oh,
I take it you guys when you were kids, you guys really loved the Care Bears.
Unfortunately, yes.
Hey, yeah. When I was a kid, I watched the Care Bears. I ain't ashamed of it.
I can't even lie. When I was a kid, yeah, me too.
I watch Care Bears.
Not gonna sit here and lie.
I like the
I ain't
Amish.
ashamed of shit I do.
hey, the Care Bears kicked some serious ass back in the day.
Well, yes,
Yeah.
they do.
All right, so
Robots
down,
kill other things, man.
yeah.
Mind blown. Mind blown. Robot chicken. You know,
Of
robot
course,
chicken is their own, you know.
Basically, both Barry and Oliver end up getting the name of the guy at approximately the same time through different sources. And let me see, and that's when the training begins, and that's when Oliver ends up getting shot in the back by 2 arrows, and
Oliver or
thus
Barry?
endeth the lesson. That was the entire lesson. Is I can shoot you in the back with 2 arrows, even if you're paying attention to me. If you're looking at me, I'm going to shoot you from behind. If you're looking behind, I'm going to shoot you from the front.
Yeah,
Like,
the moral of
where
the
you're
story
not
was pay
looking, that's
attention,
where I'm shooting you
motherfucker.
from.
Yeah, don't get hit by arrows.
What's that?
The moral of the story is like was pay attention, motherfucker.
Right.
It's like, and I like when they were arguing about that. It's like, yeah, you're gonna go over there and you're gonna run over here and you're gonna get hit with an arrow.
Here's
It's like, no, I'm not.
No, here's the real thing, folks.
Yes,
Here's the real thing.
you
Here's the real
are.
thing. If you get hit by, if you take an arrow to the knee, you will not be an adventurer again. You will take an arrow to the knee.
That is true.
Oh,
that is how I understand it, unless you're
Skyrim
buried,
reference,
because
really?
he heals quickly.
Yep.
But if you get shot in the knee, you no longer can be an adventurer. These are lessons I've learned from Skyrim.
Exactly. And it's actually true too.
Which is also an extremely overused dead meme.
But
Thank
it's
you.
true meme though. It's actually true. It is really true. I looked it up. It's true.
All right, so
Doctors didn't come nowhere. They always chop off your leg. You got to pay $100,000.
Oh,
Isaiah
God.
used to be a
Here we go.
panelist like us until he took an arrow to the head, which he's gonna do in the next 5 seconds.
I know, but I'm telling you now, you take an arrow
I'll
to
go
the
get my compound bow.
There you go. You see, you take an arrow to the knee, you cannot walk.
all right,
anymore.
so we continue the episode. Basically, literally the entire lesson between the arrow and the Flash lasts about 30 seconds of the Flash running past 2 mounted crossbows on the ground to like some place that's like 70 feet away, and then runs back and passes those same crossbows a second time without noticing them, and then ends up getting shot in the back with them. And that was the entire lesson, was pay attention, motherfucker.
Or else.
Not for arrows. Just pay attention in general.
That's it.
As Ra's al Ghul had said in Batman Begins, mind your surroundings.
Okay, but we're not on Batman Begins. We on Flash and Arrow.
It still stands. You gotta mind
That
your
universe don't
surroundings. You
count.
gotta know what's going on
Well,
around you.
the advice still stands. I think that was kind of more of his point than anything else.
Or another saying, expect the unexpected.
Exactly.
Thank
Pretty much here's no, here's a
Well, the
good-
Boy Scouts, be prepared.
Here's a good
Whatever fucking source you want to take this from, that's the point.
Okay, here's a good source, people. You never know. Boom. You never know.
Fuck.
Yeah, except that. Don't ever listen to Isaiah on any advice. Just do
Do
the opposite of
unto
whatever
others.
Isaiah is. Yeah. Whatever the opposite is.
You
do
never
that.
know, people. You never know.
See, he says you
Do
never
the
know.
opposite.
In that case, it means you always know.
Exactly. See, even now understands me. You
See?
never
That's
know.
exactly- I agree with him. That
In
means
any
I
case, Barry is slightly off the man who just shot him in the back with 2 arrows. So when they end up identifying Rainbow Bright, when they end up identifying Rainbow Bright at some warehouse, he decides that he's going to go after this motherfucker by himself because apparently he's a dumbass who doesn't know how to use his resources.
Right.
And of course, that is when he ends up being whammied, which is a word that they used frequently this particular episode. And he himself basically put on the red ring, as it were.
Did he not
or-
say
See what
I mean,
happens
not-
when you don't
not
listen to the
really,
guy
but
that's been
same
doing
idea.
this for 3 years?
What's that?
See what happens when you don't listen to the guy that's been doing this for 3 years, Barry?
Exactly.
Members that tell you that this man has the ability to control your mind or mess with your mind through his eyes.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. Don't attack him from the front. Like this is not difficult information to come up with. This is
Wait,
not.
wait.
Take him down from the back.
Wait, if his name
Yes,
is Prism,
exactly.
wouldn't he have terrible eyesight? I'm just saying that now. He would have terrible eyesight if his name was Prism.
Hey, at one point I thought
It's
he was.
not.
half
It's not
off.
him. It's not him seeing that's an issue.
Hey, I'm just saying that double
It's
vision can
using
fuck
him.
him up. I should know. I should know.
So that is when Barry ends up getting the whammy. That is when Barry starts acting like a bitch. Well,
Yeah.
more so than he was before. And that's when basically he starts treating everyone else like they're assholes.
Yeah.
Got the bitch came out of him.
That's when things got awkward.
He went to Spider-Man 3 bullshit.
Ugh.
Yeah, kind of, sort of.
See? There you go. Even he agrees with me.
Well, no, the thing that he said to Caitlin, saying that like, "Oh, I'm not Ronnie, so you need to stop treating me like Ronnie," and that kind of stuff. Yeah, that made me really uncomfortable.
That's a dick move right there.
Yeah, that
And
made me
here's my
really
thing is that the part I had a problem with. I mean, storyline wise, I didn't have a problem with it, but as a character, I thought it was rather unusual. He's telling Oliver, you know what, you're jealous of me. You're jealous of what I can do, and it's just like, bitch, like, like I work to do this, and like I'm a freaking millionaire. Like I used to be a billionaire, but now I'm down to millions. Oh no, I'm down to millions. I
Is that
fucking
confirmed?
I do this on my own, and I work to get here. I ain't jealous of shit. Like that's what I wanted Oliver to say is like
But is
you're
it
just
confirmed that he
a
has
pussy
money?
little bitch.
Oliver's a pussy. He won't say it. Yeah, I said it.
Well, I will say this right now. Through most of the stuff that was going on after Barry had been whammied, I fast-forwarded through most of it because I didn't want to see it happen because it was just going to make me uncomfortable. The whole argument that he had with his boss, didn't want to see that. The argument that he had with Oliver, what made Oliver figure out that something was wrong, I fast-forwarded through that part as well. So, like I said, I fast-forwarded through most of it because I just didn't want to see it.
So you didn't watch the whole episode either, right?
Hey, at least I was
Not
honest.
interesting.
I was honest. So hey,
I fast-forwarded to a point where I thought that the awkwardness was over.
so in other words, you're pulling Isaiah, so
ending.
you're making the truth of Isaiah in this.
In any case, so yeah, they end up doing that. They end up having the fight between Oliver and Barry, in
Which was nice.
Cisco called it a draw, but I don't know that it was a draw. I
No, it
think
wasn't a draw.
I think Arrow had a slight advantage on that one.
Yeah,
This time around.
that was a pretty narrow. It was a narrow win, but yeah, I'd give that one to Arrow.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Especially considering Flash was trying to hurt him, and he wasn't.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oliver knows how to kill people. He knows how to kill, so he hold back on that one.
Yeah, but at
Well,
the same
I
time,
doubt he could have actually killed the Flash, but he could have really hurt him, at least temporarily.
It's like Batman. Batman knows he can hurt Superman, but he doesn't want to kill him or hurt him that bad. So it's just like scenario.
Well,
He should have brought a boxing glove.
Exactly. You see what I mean?
The Flash did the whole thing with the several thousand punches and all that. Yeah, he did do that, which I thought was kind of cool. I was expecting it to do more damage than it did.
it should have.
Yeah.
We
But-
actually didn't we discuss that last time? Is that when he's doing the super fast punches that they should mean more? Or were we discussing that on another hangout that had nothing to do with the Flash?
No, I think we were discussing it on the same episode where he had to go to Mach 1.1.
The Sonic Boom Punch.
Yeah, the Sonic Boom Punch,
It's
yeah.
so bullshit.
Oh yeah, I mean that was bullshit. That Sonic Boom Punch, like he knocked him into the lockers in like a little bit.
Really?
What the
Yeah,
fuck?
it was like yeah, that should have like sent
He should
something flying.
have
That should have been some Dragon Ball Z
wall.
shit.
Yeah, like Dragon Ball.
Yeah, he
Z,
should've
saying
gone-
that?
yeah, exactly. He should have gone through the wall and like 2 buildings over.
Right, Super Saiyan shit. Like, uh-oh, he's going Super Saiyan, son. Uh-oh.
Yeah, get the blue eyes and the yellow hair, yeah.
It's actually green eyes.
Oh, it's gray eyes, okay.
Yeah, but it's like, I mean,
Green.
I'm going to accept that it's like, as far as, you know, the fighting and whatnot is concerned, it's not going to be what we'd expect. I mean, because let's be serious here. It's like, I mean, Flash punching someone, with how fast he punches, it should shatter pretty much every bone in their body. Every
Unless
single
you're
punch.
superhuman. Unless you're really much superhuman.
And
Yeah,
that is
Also
the case. I
superhuman.
mean, even his softest punches, if they're going super fast enough, should do that.
Right.
Exactly.
If he was
Because it's
facing
just
Clark,
basic physics.
if he was facing Clark,
But
that
also,
would be
it should actually then, in that case, shatter every bone in his arm as well.
Well, it did one
Just
time.
moving that fast and hitting something.
Right.
So,
Actually,
I mean,
technically, that's not the case. For example, if you were to fire, say, a feather fast enough, the feather could go through stone without hurting the feather.
That's true.
It basically speed ends up protecting you against that.
but if you crash a car into a building, they both crumple.
But that's different. Though.
Not if the car is going fast enough.
There's still the little thing called structural integrity.
Because of super speed.
Trust me, I actually like speed will actually protect you against such things. I promise. Now you're talking about like realistic speeds. If you're talking about realistic speeds, obviously that's the case. But if we're talking like past Mach whatever, then in that particular case, I mean it's the very thing that let me see. I'm trying to think of an example.
So it's like 911 times 1,000.
Exactly.
But yes, basically, if you are punching that fast, if you're punching at super speeds like that, the thing that is actually going through, the thing that's going faster, is barely affected because it doesn't have to it doesn't have to crumple that for it to be able to do that, because the speed does all the work.
But either way,
we can actually talk about that later. I promise you, I will show you the evidence later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later on.
It's just like the tire incident and the deers. Yeah.
Okay, but in any case, so what were we saying? Oh, at one point Eddie ends up facing off against the Flash. The Flash ends up being a complete dick to him. So that ends up justifying the squadron later.
Okay. So wait, this is just like Spider-Man 3. This is just like Spider-Man 3.
Okay,
What?
you say that a lot. You say, like, I think last episode you said it was like Spider-Man 2.
Exactly. Now this is like Spider-Man 3.
You need to stop comparing things to Spider-Man.
I'm saying, like, when Peter Parker was a dick, he had that Venom suit, everything went wrong after that.
Guess what, Matt? The pilot was like Spider-Man 1.
Exactly. You see, even Knuckles agrees with me.
God damn it, Knuckles.
See, it's all about Spider-Man, son. It's all about Spider-Man. He's copying that Spider-Man shit right there. Spider-Man.
And then basically, right after the fight, and yes, I am ignoring Isaiah yet again. Right after the fight is when the Van O'Colors, the Rainbow Bright van, shows up.
The Rainbow Mobile.
The Rainbow Mobile. And flashes random lights, and somehow that unhypnotizes Barry. Because where it did not seem like he was being hypnotized by Rainbow Bright, the guy, Chroma, whatever, the blinking lights did look like they were like unhypnotizing him.
I'm sorry to say, but that shit almost gave me a headache watching it. How the hell that didn't fuck with Oliver?
Right.
I was actually kind of waiting for somebody hopped up on ecstasy with those little like glow sticks and the glow necklace about to start a rave.
Ecstasy, sir.
So in any case,
They were
there ends
actually
up being
raving
that.
inside the passenger seat.
Oh, they were using vertigo. That's how they stopped them using vertigo. That's how they used it. Vertigo, son.
God damn it.
That gives me the idea. Can you imagine Cisco actually like having a rave inside of Star Labs? Like Wells is like, you know what? I'm going to Starling City for a week, take care of things, make sure that that nothing happens, keep everything calm here. And Cisco's all like, okay. And then he ends up making like $2,000 off of selling tickets to a rave in Star Labs. Like I could see Cisco doing that.
Yeah,
Using that big ass Rainbow Bright lamp.
Yeah, Cisco can be the DJ. It's called Cisco.
And we have Chroma doing the robot in the middle of the dance floor, and his eyes are changing colors.
Awesome.
All right. So of
And
course
the green
Iris
mist hanging over the
talking
hair.
to Barry. Barry visits Iris again. Iris is all like, "All right, no, you were a dick. I'm now like no longer on the Flash bandwagon, as it were." Flash is all sad.
Yeah.
Iris is all sad. But ultimately, this is good news because of the fact that that was the very thing that Barry was trying to get her to do, is stop reporting on him. Stop, like, leave him alone. Because if she is reporting about him, that puts her life in danger. So now he ended up getting what he wants by being a dick.
Well,
which is pretty much a universal truth for all males, is you don't get what you want unless you're a dick.
Basically. However, didn't we already discover this nonsense?
Sometimes being a dick works.
I mean, I'm just getting confused in that scenario too. Didn't we already play that route when like that Steel or fake Colossus ripoff guy kidnapped her due to that reporting? Why she didn't change that beforehand? Like, well, I'm gonna change everything, not put my name on it. Oh, you're gonna keep doing it? You're really gonna keep doing it? All right, whatever.
Well,
So
it took her watching her boyfriend get the shit kicked out of him by the Flash,
wow. Then she's that stupid.
and that sequence should have been could have been a little bit better.
Yeah. Um. So I just want to point out, mostly because I'm looking at the article by Entertainment Weekly, there was a couple things that I want to bring up. First off, Oliver Queen is on the list of 3 guys that she can cheat on Eddie with.
Wow, I told you she's not loyal.
Which makes me wonder who's the other 2.
I told you she's not
Yeah.
loyal, homie. She's not loyal.
Felicity asked Caitlin to help her break down the DNA from Canary's murder. So I'm thinking hopefully we might see that the result of that in tonight's episode of Arrow.
Oh God.
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
Oliver straight out tells Barry that at least his bad guys don't have silly nicknames, and Barry responds with, "You mean like Deathstroke and the Huntress?"
Those are cool.
Wow.
Yeah, those are cool names. Deathstroke,
Yeah.
Huntress, or Captain Cold or Rainbow Raider. Yeah, fuck off, Barry. Oliver's right.
I think of Captain Cold as someone given a cold.
Captain
Well,
Cold is a terrible name, but he's an awesome villain.
He could be an awesome
there's
villain, a
Canary.
copycat of Mr. Freeze.
There's the Canary and Cupid.
Yeah,
And,
yeah, exactly. And then lastly, the last thing I want to mention is that Barry knows that there's something wrong about Harrison Wells, and he remarks
Oh,
about it. He's
really?
all like, "There's something off about
You
this
said
guy."
Barry, you meant Oliver.
Oh my God. Are
I'm
you
Oliver,
serious?
sorry.
Yeah, Oliver.
And I did like that. It's like that little scene at the end where after he introduced himself when they were walking away on their way to leave, that he mentioned that there seemed something off about him. It's like it kind of just shows like how good he is at kind of reading people, and he knows something's up. It's like so I'm kind of wondering if that's going to come into play. It's like, I mean, obviously we're not going to see after tonight's episode of Arrow, we're not going to see a crossover on this scale for a while.
I think
But I just
next
wonder
season.
if that's going to
Well,
come into
you
play.
know, I mean, not to disrespect you or anything, but I had to disagree with that. He didn't pick up on Thea's lying at all. Like, oh yeah, I have an investor. Okay, who's your investor? Oh, nobody. Okay.
But that's his sister.
Yeah, but
He's
come
not
on,
looking
man.
for it through his
People tell
sister.
people when they're lying. He knows
Harrison
they're lying.
Wells just gives you
Yeah,
that
see,
vibe
look,
that something ain't right with him.
Listen to what I said. It's like, oh, women are lying. Seriously, what the fuck is it with you and women, dude? It's like, I mean,
I'm saying Thea was a good liar.
did your mom smack you around? I mean,
Hey, now, I wish that was-
Oh no,
What is
I mean,
He
you guys
just
saw
said that
live.
he wished that his mom smacked him around. That's some real mother issues. That's some
Thank you.
Oedipus shit right there.
Hey, I'm just saying the truth, folks. I'm just saying, like, he didn't know Thea was lying whatsoever. And we know he could pick up on people's
I
things.
mean,
But that's
I'm
his
gonna go with
sister.
Isaiah on this one, and that's because I saw the show Lie to Me. I know that when you're really good at reading people, it ruins your relationships.
See, even Knuckles agrees with me. There you go. Case closed.
Ugh.
All right, so now we've gone into basically the show is over. We end up having 2 separate revelations that end up happening during this episode. Does anyone recognize the woman that said
Yes.
hi to
Oh,
all?
of course.
Yes,
I,
that
Yeah,
was,
okay,
I was
just wanted
cracking
to
up
make
laughing
sure.
all day on the internet. It's like because people were like calling her this mystery woman, and they had no idea why this was shoehorned
That's the
in.
one.
I'm like, how do y'all
that,
not recognize
that was
her?
the woman
Well,
that had a
mean,
baby.
It's been almost. It's been almost a whole season since we saw her.
First
in
showed
that
up in
episode.
last season of Arrow, where Oliver. This is during a flashback where Oliver found out that he had fathered a child with that woman, and his mother basically paid her off with like $2 million to leave town and to never call Oliver again.
Basically, that's what rich mothers do when they
Yes.
don't want some greedy woman around.
But
See?
I think, and this actually ties into my speculation, so I'm going to say it now. That way I don't forget, and I don't have to say it in speculation territory anyway. But I think that since they had introduced her at the end of this episode, they're probably going to make her. She's probably going to show up again. Most
Well, yes.
likely not during the first half of the season because we have like 1 episode left. But she's definitely going to show up this season again, and we are going to see the child. Now, I don't know if I don't know if Oliver's going to see the child this season. It's unlikely, but we are going to see the child and all that. And when Oliver does finally see the child, I'm not entirely sure how he's going to react to it.
Well, first off, are we all in agreement, at least those who know the comics, of who this child is, who this child ends up becoming? Which is Connor, who is the second Green Arrow. Okay,
Yeah.
apparently not a lot of people read the comics.
No,
Yeah, I never knew that. I never knew that. So
you already know about Wally West.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is his name Bruce, and is like Arrow and his mom gonna die in an alleyway?
Right.
Well, that's just it. Is in the comics, Green Arrow dies for like 15 years in the comics, which of course in the comics is only like 3 years.
Right.
But it's like 15 years for us. And it ends up, well, it wasn't 15 years for us. It was probably like 7 years. But in any case, basically Connor ends up taking over for him. His son, his biological son, takes over for him. And then when he comes back for a little while, there are 2 Green Arrows.
So wait a minute. It's just like Bruce Wayne nonsense. He fathered a child with Talia al Ghul, and here we are.
Yes, except it happened about 7 to 10 years before Batman did it.
I know, but Batman has so many kids.
I don't know. To go with Charles' point, I don't see it happening. Maybe next season they might play a little more with that, because I figured out who she was once I heard her talking to the little boy on the phone. I didn't recognize her at first until I heard, "Hey, baby, I'm getting you some hot chocolate."
I knew it from the moment that she walked in the door and looked at Oliver. When Oliver saw her, I knew from the moment that that's who it was.
But
By the way, who
That's when I knew it. It's like earlier on at the bank, it did not occur to me until I saw him and Oliver.
Just out of curiosity, who calls their 5-year-old on a cell phone from like Starbucks?
I don't know. Maybe people do that nowadays.
I would
Kids
say
have cell phones at like 5 years old. It's ridiculous.
Judging from like my sisters dealing with my nieces and nephews, I would say any modern parent that has a 5-year-old.
And
To answer that question.
Never happened for me. What's up?
They have cell phones. Shut the fuck up.
All right,
You have to
to
explain
wrap
that.
things up before our wild speculation, of course, we end up having a couple young punks decide that they're going to rob a homeless man, and that didn't maybe work out so well for them.
No, it didn't.
Because that homeless man turned out to be somebody who we know.
He turned out
Yes,
to
and
look
that
cool.
would be Oliver's cousin. Wait, no.
Well, kind
Stephen
of.
Amell's cousin, Robbie Amell, also known as I'm sure everyone who's watching this knows, as Firestorm in this. This.
I was gonna say Rainbow Moon. I got it wrong.
Rainbow Moon. That was gonna be Acid Rain.
And I gotta say, the way he looks as Firestorm, he looks awesome. I thought it looked great, and I'd love to see what he's gonna look like in costume.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I
We at
just
least
hope
know
that
where
it
the arrow
isn't,
was
you
in
know,
last
the actual normal Firestorm costume, which it has that freaking
Yeah, I hope not.
head,
Is that?
face, whatever.
Yeah.
But I do have a
the
speculation.
costume for Firestorm is horrible.
Yeah, I do have a speculation in regards to Ronnie Raymond, aka.
Wait a second. Before you get into speculations, I don't want to get there yet. I was like, I said at the beginning of this that I did have a couple of nitpicks about this episode, so let me go ahead and get those out. One of my nitpicks, and again, both of these are relatively minor, but it's like I was kind of disappointed that it's like, after the whole fight scene between Arrow and Flash, and they were off to get the bad guy, that you didn't actually get to see that. I think it would have been cool to actually see that team up, no matter how brief. It's like, I'm not saying, of course, the both of them together capturing this guy wouldn't have really been that big of a deal. It would have just been cool to see. My second.
Fucked up.
Yeah, so I was like, I'm sitting there rewinding. I was like, what the fuck did I just miss? It's like, let's go get him. We got him. Wait, what? and my second relatively minor gripe is like, we know that this is sort of a two cross show, crossover and whatnot, and this was the first one, and then the second one's tonight on Arrow, but I wish they would have taken this opportunity to do a real 2-part episode. It's like, I mean, because from the looks of it, it's like, I mean, this seemed like a standalone episode to me. There was nothing in this episode that would have indicated to anyone watching that didn't already know that there was going to be another crossover on Arrow the next night. I was like, I'm sure there's the CW's airing promos for it and whatnot, but in this episode, there's nothing to indicate that. And I think that would have been something cool if they would have utilized this and took this opportunity to make an actual 2-part story that spanned both of these shows. I just think that would have been cool. And
hopefully they learned from this, because I agree with you. It didn't give off that vibe. It just gave off more of a vibe of a standalone episode. The Arrow came to play, but what really brought him? Okay, he came to check out a boomerang.
Yeah, and that was weak, but I allowed it because I was just so excited about seeing this crossover happen. But yeah, that was like the weakest fucking reason ever. It's like, I mean, they might as well have just said, it's like, hey, we heard y'all had a new pizza place, so we decided to come to town and check it out. That would have made more sense to me than this bullshit.
Or like he could have got a phone call.
Really high and fuck off, Felicity.
Yeah, or he could have gotten a phone call from like Thea. It's like, oh, she's in trouble. Hey Barry, how fast can you run to my city?
Yeah,
and Barry's like, you mean me, the guy who's standing right next to you right now? That's that's what I would do if I were Barry and Oliver.
And while you're at it, Barry, bring all the cameras too.
Bring all the
Another
cameras.
interesting little point was how they had the discussion between how fast the Arrow goes and how fast Barry runs. That was a little fun.
Yeah.
Now, do we have wild speculation?
Yes, I do. I do.
Forgetful one.
Yeah, I do have a speculation about Ronnie Raymond, aka Firestorm. Is that in the comic books, Firestorm is a hero, clearly, but in the TV show, I do not think that he's going to start out as a hero. If anything, I think he's going to start out as a villain. And the thing is that they won't know who he is because he's going to be inflamed. He's going to be on fire, and they won't be able to get a clear look at his face. But then when they get close enough, Caitlin is actually going to recognize him, and Barry's about to actually do a final attack on him, and she's going to get in the way, and she's going to say, like, no, don't stop. That's Ronnie. He's alive. And then there's going to be this whole I don't know. But then, of course, they're going to do this they're going to do this whole process where they're going to bring him in alive, and they're going to try to help him. And he's going to go through some sort of process of redemption, and he probably won't become a hero throughout the rest of the season. I think that he's only going to have a moderate recurring role throughout the entire season, and he won't have a much stronger role until next season. That's my speculation.
Basically, you got it sounding a little bit like Plastique.
I guess. I don't entirely follow that.
He's this show's version of Arsenal.
This version's of what now? You kind of broke up there for a second.
This show's version of Arsenal.
Oh, yes. Probably, yes.
But at least Arsenal had more screen time.
Yeah, because, well, Roy was first introduced in Season 1, and now we're in Season 3, so, yeah.
Perfect. Do we have any other wild speculation?
Yes.
We'll see more flames.
On the Arrow side of this crossover event, Diggle will ask the Flash directly.
Sure Arrow does poop.
No, but Diggle is going to ask Barry directly on how fast he goes to the bathroom, to which we will find out he does not.
And one more thing. Diggle says, oh, and after you answer that, how about you go and make me a mask?
That would be kind of cool. If Diggle finally got a mask and it was
and then he goes and he grabs a ski mask.
Yeah, there we go.
He goes like, oh.
Perfect. We got anything else?
I don't know.
All right. I guess we can wrap things up. Of course, check us out at geeksoftheround.com and also at youtube.com/geeksoftheround. Make sure to like us, subscribe us, all that other fun stuff. Make sure to check us out tomorrow when we're going to be discussing the Arrow. And check out all our shows. You'll be able to see that on our YouTube channel or, of course, on the page. I want to thank everyone for watching, and you have a great week.